with the earthiness of agricultural and mechanical schools, anchored with a whole lot of "we can do it because we're from Texas" attitude. I loved going to college there, though admittedly, when I arrived as a freshman, I knew surprisingly little about the school. So I'll never forget the first time I entered the football stadium, Kyle Field. The football game did not start until the next day, yet my roommates and I joined the throng of more than 10,000 of our fellow classmates as we entered the stadium a few minutes before midnight. As an inexperienced freshman, I peppered my upperclassmen roommates with questions like, "So what is this we're doing? Why are we all here at midnight?" They explained that the student body always gathered the night before the games in order to practice the yells that we would all be shouting in unison the following day. Like I said, unique. But it had a certain logic to it. A crowd of thousands all yelling the exact same well-rehearsed chant throughout the game had proven to be a successful tactic to intimidate and confuse opposing teams. But then my roommates' explanations took a strange turn. They continued, "So we'll practice the yells for a few minutes, and then at a certain moment, all the lights will be turned out and we'll make out with the person standing next to us." Wait, what? When the lights go out, you kiss the girl you brought, they explained. Or if you didn't bring someone, don't worry. You hold up a lighter and someone will find you and you'll make out with them. I laughed for a moment, but quickly ceased when I realized that they were not joking. Suddenly a wave of anxiety swept over me. This was an introvert's nightmare. What am I supposed to do? I didn't bring a date. Am I really going to kiss a random person? What if no one finds me? What if someone does, and I really don't want to kiss them? Do I cough, act like I'm sick, hit the ground? What does any of this have to do with football? In the end, I admitted to myself that I wasn't ready for this kind of pressure. I think I shook my roommate's hand and then stared at my shoes until the moment was over. But I remember how it struck me as fascinating that the simple act of turning off the lights could instantly create such a variety of strong emotional responses around the stadium. For some, this would be thrilling. They came with someone cute, they had just started dating, or with whom they felt there was some potential, and this was going to be an epic moment in their relationship. For others, this would just be business as usual. They had been dating for 14 years, which isn't even right. But we all know those people who show up to college and they're already like an old couple. They'd simply kiss like they always do, with most of the thrill gone. For others, the extinguishing of the lights at this midnight yell suddenly flooded back the memories of the person they kissed at the last one, who was now gone. And that simple act of turning off the lights brought up a torrent of pain. Maybe for others, that moment when the stadium went dark was yet another reminder of how they had always been so desperately alone. Or like me, maybe it brought a rush of competing anxieties. The fear of being alone, crashing into the fear of being in a relationship, creating a tsunami of panic. Why mention this Texas A&M experience? Because in the same way that all those varied emotional responses were ignited with the flip of a switch at a college football tradition, I have found this very phenomenon occurs in any room filled with single people when you say the word dating. Though I have stood in stadiums full of college students who cheered when I announced from stage, we will be talking about relationships. I have also stood before rooms full of mid to late 20-somethings who groaned audibly when they heard the same sentence. Why such a disparity of responses from people relatively the same age? For some, the thought of dating conjures up all manner of stress because they feel so much uncertainty about how to do it. Over the years, I've had hundreds of conversations with young people who ask me questions like, what am I supposed to do if I'm interested in somebody? What are the rules now? Do I call them? Will they think that's weird? Who calls anymore? So am I supposed to try to corner her somewhere and tell her I think she's pretty? That feels really stalkerish. Do I just comment on their social media a lot? Should I send a private message? Or is that trying to create a secret world too fast? Should I text? Is that too informal? Do I try to stay casual and say, let's go hang out? Or is that not clear and intentional enough? Should I ask them to go on a date with me? Is that too formal, too old school? What are the rules? For many young people, the topic of dating creates little thrill. It mainly produces anxiety. For others, dating is their absolute favorite topic to talk about. When the word comes to mind, she thinks about the cute guy who did text. Her thoughts drift back to the moment when she saw his name flash onto the screen of her phone, sending a message asking if it'd be possible to go to dinner. She recalls with fond affection the moment she showed the text to her friends and collectively all their adrenaline spiked and the comments began to fly. He texted you. I told you he likes you. What are you going to say? Say yes. You'll make such a cute couple. Your name goes really good with his last name. Or you're the guy who sent the text and felt your heart pound as you waited for her reply. After an